Alexander Isak transfer clause that could further complicate Liverpool move revealed Alexander Isak has broken his silence after becoming embroiled in a transfer saga involving Liverpool, with Newcastle issuing a response, though one contractual clause could further complicate things. Newcastle's Alexander Isak has broken his silence as his Liverpool transfer saga continues, though a clause in the 25-year-old's contract concerning former club Real Sociedad could throw yet another spanner into the works. The Swedish striker made it clear last month that he wanted to explore his options away from St. James Park, and while the Reds did submit a £110 million bid, this fell well below Newcastle's valuation. A stalemate has since been met with Isak refusing to play for the club, and the Magpies insisting he is not for sale and will remain on Tyneside unless an adequate offer is made. On Tuesday, Isak spoke for the first time since the drama unfolded. Explaining his absence from the Professional Footballers Association's awards gala, Newcastle issued a telling reply, as the possibility of an agreement with Liverpool remains up in the air, though a sell-in clause inserted into the 25-year-old's contract could further complicate matters. Isak's statement was damning. In light of this increasingly noxious disagreement, the star striker, who has been training away from Newcastle's first team, claimed promises had been broken. "I've kept quiet for a long time while others have spoken," wrote Isak. That silence has allowed people to push their own version of events, even though they know it doesn't reflect what was really said and agreed behind closed doors. The reality is that promises were made, and the club has known my position for a long time. To now act as if these issues are only emerging is misleading. When promises are broken and trust is lost, the relationship can't continue. That's where things are for me right now, and why change is in the best interests of everyone, not just myself. Yet, a deal for Isak would be complicated. The Reds' £110 million package was swiftly rebuked, and it is thought that Isak is valued at a whopping £150 million. Nevertheless, it seems a British record transfer fee is what it would take to secure his services. Adding further complications is a sell-on clause that was inserted in Isak's deal when he moved to Real Sociedad in 2022. The Swede arrived in England for a fee of £63 million, and a 10% capital clause was attached to his deal. As such, the Spanish side received that percentage of any profits made from the future sale of Isak, should he be sold for 150 meters, for example. This would see a sum of £8.7 million go to Spain. Such a stipulation could cause Newcastle to demand an even higher price for Isak, and Liverpool could have to pay extra to ensure the Magpies receive a final sum they are satisfied with. As their reply to Isak's statement suggests, Newcastle themselves do not see a deal being completed this window. It read, "We are clear in response that Alex remains under contract and that no commitment has ever been made by a club official that Alex can leave Newcastle United this summer. We want to keep our best players, but we also understand players have their own wishes, and we listen to their views, as explained to Alex and his representatives. We must always take into consideration the best interests of Newcastle United, the team, and our supporters in all decisions, and we have been clear that the conditions of a sale this summer have not transpired. We do not foresee those conditions being met. This is a proud football club with proud traditions, and we strive to retain our family feel. Alex remains part of our family and will be welcomed back when he is ready to rejoin his team-mates. Liverpool want Alexander Isak, but Newcastle United are showing no signs of softening their stance on keeping the striker before this summer transfer window ends. Jermaine Pennant believes a deal for Alexander Isak to leave Newcastle United will happen on transfer deadline day. The former Liverpool player remains convinced a move will materialize. Despite Newcastle showing no signs of changing their stance, they value the Sweden international at around £150 million and are unwilling to do business unless such an offer is forthcoming. A bid of around £110 million from Liverpool earlier this month hardly tested their resolve. Newcastle are also in the market to sign two strikers over the next fortnight, having yet to replace Callum Wilson after his summer exit, let alone any alternative to Isak. Pennant, however, believes the latter will join the former by plying his trade elsewhere in the Premier League this season. "I just can't see them keeping him now," Pennant said on Talksport's latest episode of their Inside Liverpool show. There's been so much noise and toxicity around the issue. He's unsettled at the club. Even if they were to keep Isak, you're not getting the same player. It's facts. So 70%, 80%, Isak. You're not getting the same player. He doesn't want to be there. His heart's not in it. You can't force someone to be wherever or do whatever. He's got to do it on his own. Now, is it worth losing? Potentially £140 million to rebuild your squad to keep someone who is going to give you not what he could give you before. And the value may drop as well. I think the deal is going to be done, but it's not going to be done while we play Newcastle. I think this is Liverpool preparing £165 million double transfer swoop for Newcastle United star and Newcastle United target. Liverpool has seemingly taken Alexander Isak's social media statement as a "come and get me" plea, while ignoring Newcastle United's follow-up. War of words broke out on Tuesday night as Alexander Isak broke his silence on the current situation at Newcastle United, claiming that the relationship between him and the club has broken down and that it's in everyone's best interest if he moves on. Shortly after, Newcastle United fired back with a statement of their own, which effectively announced that any avenues for Isak to leave this summer were now closed in direct response to his statement. If the latest report from The Sun is to be believed, then Liverpool clearly took no notice of the club's statement. As they claim the Reds are preparing another bid for Isak, Liverpool are preparing a £130 million bid for Alexander Isak. The report claims Liverpool will bid £130 million for Isak and will also swoop for England defender Mark Guéhi, who had been tracked by Newcastle for the last 12 months. It sounds like they will make a £35 million move for Guéhi, with The Sun saying it will be a £165 million double swoop, which would take Liverpool's spending to an eye-watering £466 million. Newcastle have since brought in Malik Theo. So, Mark Guéhi isn't a priority for the Magpies now, but obviously, keeping hold of Isak is dot. It had been suggested by several outlets that £130 million plus add-ons would have been enough to convince Newcastle to part with Isak this summer. But after the club's statement last night, that now seems very unlikely. Expected that Liverpool will wait until after the two sides meet at St. James Park on Monday night before making their move. Not that it will make a blind bit of difference to what we're expecting to be a very hostile atmosphere. Isak will vary. Likely not be in attendance, even if something happens between now and then that sees him return to training, which is unlikely. Whether he's there or not, his name is going to dominate all the talk before, during, and after the game. It could actually be a rare case of the Monday Night Football pundits on Sky Sports actually talking about the game there. Covering before kickoff, Alexander Isak, told to explain broken promises by Alan Shearer. Amid Liverpool interest, Newcastle United legend Alan Shearer has had his say after Alexander Isak accused the club of breaking promises as he tries to force through a move to Liverpool